So today what I'm doing here is a little bit of work on my FG 2010 GS Ute. It's a 315 Miami engine, supercharged as you'll. And the problem we're addressing is the corrosion on the top of the machine face of the Harrop Supercharger. And you can see this side here. I've gone through and re-linished that, and that's how it was originally, just from heat and a bit of neglect. So there's a clear coat on that, and what we're going to do is go through the process of restoring it and then sealing it. So what we've done here is started with the 80 grits, gone to the 120 grit. That gets rid of the clear pretty quickly, that fines up the linish, and then one of these, which is just a Scotch-Brite type material, brown grade, so not that fine. We're going to do the same with the Boss 315 plate as well, and hopefully we can preserve all of the imprint here without damaging that. If you have a look when you take it off, it is powder coated with a protective coating on the other side, looks to be a thermal coating. And underneath here is a rubber insulator that sits in behind there. I've left that in there and taped over the top. When we're done, what we're going to do is go over it with a VHT clear product that will protect the engine. It's a clear coat that's used for high temperature engine components, so I'll come back to that in a little bit. The drill's on too much of an angle there, so I'm going to swap over and use this hand. Let's see if we can get this to linish evenly. You can see there where I've taped it. If you slip using it one-handed, it's pretty hard. What you can see here is we've started with the 120 grit, and that's got it back pretty well. Don't be too concerned with the direction of the linish. I'll turn that torch off so you can get a better look. It's a bit overexposed there, but what you want to try and do is get this so you're just removing this clear coat. You'll still feel a profile. Don't be too concerned about trying to get the direction of the linish perfect with the 120 grit, or sorry, the 80 grit. You'll come past with your 120 and your brush, and you'll see, turn that flash off a bit, there we go. You'll be able to get the grain relatively uniform. You can see here how thick that clear coat actually is. There's a fair bit on there, so don't be scared to go reasonably hard, but keep in mind that the tape won't stick well to this product. This is very profiled, so any tape will have trouble sticking to this. So I used fabric tape, which is quite expensive, basically gaffer tape, and you can see all the lint up there. That's all the clear coat that's been buzzed off around the engine bay we need to clean up. So we'll finish this bit off here and then get stuck into the rest of it with the 120. So once you get it fairly uniform, that's the first pass with the 80 grit flappy wheel that we got down here. It's relatively uniform. You'll see there are a couple of spots where there's disuniformity. That'll come out with the next pass now using the 120, and then we'll go to the final finish with the honeycomb type Scotch-Brite. So that's 80 and 120 on both sides. See, it's a pretty shit camera, this, it's just my phone, but I'll give you a bit of a rough idea. Then we'll go over this again with the Scotch-Brite one. So I'll whack that on the drill. see how we go. Give this a bit of love, and then we'll move on to the clear. Right, that's the final pass there with the Scotch-Brite. Brings it up fairly shiny. Concern here is uniformity. Trying to get that. You're not polishing this, you know, you want to keep it brushed. So it's just about uniformity. Like I said, it's really hard to stick to this black profile here, so we're going to have difficulty when we go to spray the clear on this, how we end up masking this out properly so we get a uniform finish. So that's the power plaque, as we'll call it, on the top. It's its first pass with the 80 grit. I've just worked my way along here. You'll notice it's got a slight camber in it. I've used a rubber bench that's pretty grippy, stop it shooting out the side when this rotates. So we'll spin that around and we'll do the other side so it matches up with our first pass. Things to note, just down the end here, there's a really slight sort of bevel down here. Got to be very careful you don't overrun and flatten that edge off. If you look how square that one is, and I've gone over a touch there and created a bit of a beveled edge. We should be able to touch that up so it ends up in uniform with the other side. So that's the finished plate there, you can see. Pretty flawless. So the challenge comes now of how do we treat this and get it so it's going to stay preserved. The biggest challenge will be spraying these. So we'll see what we can come up with, and I'll show you the product we're using. So this is the product that we're using. It's a VHT product, up to 550 degrees Fahrenheit or 288 degrees Celsius. So engine gets that hot up there, we've got big problems. I'd like to just give it a clean down with a bit of metho first. Probably going to do the same over here to the hockey sticks, and that should remove any contaminants. I don't like using acid etch materials like Alibrite because that will remove the linishing profile we've worked so hard to get in there. It will hit that profile and you would have to relinish it. So we'll do that, give it a dry, and give it a hit, put it out in the sun, see how long it takes to dry. So that's our first coat there. You can sort of see.
That's not going on YouTube, otherwise you get 1 million views.
Look how overexposed that is.
Because you got a shit camera.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, that's the first coat. We won't make any dust around it. It's still trying to tack off, but
What if I kick dust in it?
it looks pretty hot.
Where's the swag?